right, in the 3 Arts Workshop Week 2 grammar lesson, we're thinking about adjectives and adverbs. An adjective, the Oxford English Dictionary tells us, is a word or lexical unit which designates an attribute and qualifies a noun or pronoun so as to describe it more fully. It's a word that functions as a modifier, telling us about the quality of a thing, a noun or a pronoun. An adverb, on the other hand, is a word or lexical unit that modifies the meaning of a verb, adjective, or another adverb expressing manner, place, time, or degree. It's a modifier, but not a modifier of nouns or pronouns, a modifier of verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. Adjectives answer specific questions about the nouns they modify. Which one, what kind, and how many. Adverbs answer these questions: when, why, how, and under what circumstances. Let's take a look at this famous first sentence from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Look at that word single. We know it's an adjective. Why? Because it's modifying a noun, man, and it's answering one of the 3 questions that adjectives ask. Which one, what kind, or how many? This is answering the what kind question. What kind of man? A single man. Same goes for the word good. We know it's an adjective because it's modifying fortune, a noun, and it's answering the what kind question. What kind of fortune? A good fortune. Universally, this is an adverb because it's modifying a verbal adjective or participle acknowledged, and it's answering one of the 4 questions that adverbs answer. Remember, those are when, why, how, and under what circumstances. This word is answering the under what circumstances question. Under what circumstances is it a truth acknowledged? Universal circumstances. So here we can see the difference between adverbs and adjectives and what kinds of questions they answer. Here's a passage from Emily Dickinson. The morning fluttered, staggered, felt feebly for her crown, her unanointed forehead, henceforth her only one. The word unanointed we identify as an adjective because it's modifying a noun, forehead, and it's answering again that question, what kind? What kind of forehead? Her unanointed forehead. With the word only, we have an adjective again, but this time it's modifying one, which is a pronoun, and it's not answering the what kind question, it's answering the how many question. How many ones are we talking about? We're talking about her only one. The morning fluttered, staggered, felt feebly for her crown. This is an adverb because it's modifying which word? Felt, the verb. It's telling us about the verb, and it's answering one of our 4 questions. When, why, how, and under what circumstances. Here, it's answering the how question. How did the morning feel for her crown? Feebly. This is how you diagram adjectives and adverbs. Since adjectives and adverbs are modifiers, we want to put them on descending diagonal lines which stem from the words they modify. So here we have an adjective stemming from a noun, which represents the subject of the sentence, and an adverb stemming from the verb. There are more complex forms of this descending diagonal structure, but let's begin by looking at this basic form and looking at it in practice with the diagramming of a specific sentence. White swans swim swiftly. If we want to diagram this sentence, we want to begin by identifying the verb. So what's the verb? Swim. We want to put swim on the baseline on the right side of the vertical line. Now we ask ourselves, who or what is swimming? Swans. Let's put that on the baseline to the left of the vertical line. We're left with 2 words, white and swiftly. Let's start with white. What part of speech is this? Well, we know it's a word that's modifying the word swans, and that's a plural noun, so already that should suggest an adjective. But to be sure, we can ask ourselves, does the word white answer about the swans one of the three adjective questions? Which one, what kind, or how many? Yes, certainly it answers the what kind question. What kind of swans? White swans. So we know that this is an adjective, and we put it on a diagonal line beneath swans. The last word, swiftly, it's modifying swim, which is our verb. So that suggests adverb, but to be sure, I ask, does swiftly answer about swim one of the four questions of the adverb? When, how, why, and under what circumstances? It answers the how question. It answers how the white swans swam. So I put that on a diagonal line beneath swim. Here's how you diagram the not too uncommon situation in which adverbs are modifying adjectives or other adverbs. You draw a line running perpendicular to your diagonal line of the first modifier, and then draw a descending diagonal line parallel with the first. So an adverb stemming from an adjective or an adverb stemming from another adverb. Here's a sentence that demonstrates this chain of modifiers situation. Very beautiful birds sang too languidly. Sang is our verb, birds is our subject. If we're looking at the two modifiers connected to birds, we notice that very beautiful is a chain. Very is modifying birds, but not directly. It's modifying beautiful first, which then modifies birds. So beautiful is an adjective stemming from birds because it modifies the noun and answers the question what kind. But very is an adverb modifying the word beautiful. It's modifying an adjective and it's answering the question how. How beautiful? Very beautiful. You see something similar here with the verb. Languidly modifies the verb and it answers the question how. How did the very beautiful birds sing? They sang languidly. Too languidly. Too is an adverb modifying languidly, modifying the adverb, and it's answering the question again, how. How languidly? Too languidly. Here we want to talk about determiners. Determiners are types of adjectives that are familiar to us, but if we don't recognize them, if we don't identify them now, we may miss them as adjectives when we go to diagram sentences. Articles are types of determiners, and therefore adjectives. A, an, and the answer one of the three questions that an adjective can ask, namely, which one? If I say, a cat came in the window, that's different than saying the cat came in the window. If I say a cat, I'm referencing some cat that we aren't familiar with. But if I say the cat, then I'm talking about a specific cat that my listener will have some familiarity with. Numerical modifiers answer the question, how many? 1, 2, even a word like no. These are all adjectives answering the question, how many? So let's look at this sentence here. The three kings danced. What's our verb? Danced. And that goes on the right side of the vertical line on our baseline. Who or what danced? Kings. I put that on the left side of the vertical line. Now I have two words left, the and three. Let's look at the. We remember the is one of our articles, a and the. The modifies kings and it answers the question, which one? So I put it on a diagonal line underneath kings. What about 3? Well, 3 is answering the question, how many? 3 kings danced. So that's also an adjective. It's a determiner, a numerical modifier, and I put that on a diagonal line beneath kings. So to sum it all up, adjectives are modifiers of nouns and pronouns, and adverbs are modifiers of verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. We put them on descending diagonal lines beneath the words they modify. In some cases, we need to make these double descending diagonal structures in order to diagram those situations in which modifiers are modifying other modifiers. For this week's quiz, you need to be able to diagram adjectives, adverbs, and also adverbs modifying other adjectives and adverbs.